And he expected the butterfly to fly away, but the butterfly didn't. Because to be able to fly, to be able to use the wings, the butterfly had needed it to have the resistance of the cocoon to empower basically the wings to grow. How to get more resistant to resistant. It's one of the questions I got during my free weekly mini training. And it's a very interesting question. This question came from a lady who just started to become the team manager of the team. She used to be part of the team, so she's the one who stepped up and got the position. So that's what I'm going to talk about with you today in this episode, because the more you're resistant, or the more you're okay with resistance from outside of you, the easier everything gets. Everything gets more effortless. It doesn't cost you energy anymore when there is resistance from either your team or from the people you report to. It doesn't matter. So it's very useful. It's very useful when you have the ability to be okay with resistance from outside of you. Now, it's not a coincidence that I've worked in sales for over 13 years. And they say that the reason why salespeople make some money, make a lot of money, can make a lot of money, maybe that's better to say, but is because they're able to deal with no. They're able to deal with no and yet still continue. And that's also a form of resistance, right? When somebody says no, okay, there is a no, okay, now what? And that's what it's all about. There is an episode I recorded, it's about saying no, how to get past saying no, something else, something like that. But this is leaning more towards resistance. Look, if you experience resistance, either from someone else or from a situation or whatever, if you feel it as a strong resistance, it feels like you're going up the stream of a river. And it's very hard. It's kind of impossible to go with your canoe or whatever, or in a rowing boat up the stream of a river. It's impossible. The stream is way too strong. And that's how you should, you don't have to do nothing, but how you could look at resistance. Okay. Resistance is something somebody doesn't agree with me or doesn't agree with me yet. That's all there is. Somebody has a different point of view compared to yours. So you could see that as resistance, or you could see accept it for a fact. Okay, I hear you, I see you, I take it with me, and I go in a direction, not upwards, but the other side, the other, with the flow of the river. And then it will make things a lot easier, because if you look at something as resistance, you have the tendency of fighting. And once you fight against something, that something becomes even bigger. So in this case, it becomes even bigger than it actually was. You get more of what you do not want. And you want it to go down the stream. So once you see resistance, okay, you're in a boat on the river, you're just going with the flow, you're paddling, however you're going, and there is some kind of maybe a block, a big stone or whatever in front of you. When you look at it, maybe it stops you from going there for a second, which is okay, because then you have the time to figure out, okay, how am I gonna go past this rock or this block or whatever it is in front of you in your river. You decide, and then you go, you take action, and then you manage to go further, to go past it. If you look at resistance that way, just a little stop, just a little, maybe detour, whatever, it gives you a chance to think through, to figure out how to get past. and then you go past. That's it. If you look at resistance from someone else this way, then is it still resistance? Or is it just a detour? Or is it just contrast to make you learn something, so you learn next time, and next time you don't even experience the same thing as resistance anymore? Doesn't it make lighter? Doesn't it make lighter? There's one more thing I want to share with you, because I was a few weeks ago was on an event of Inspired Women Lead to empower women's position all over the world, 5 continents. And somebody was telling me the story about this butterfly. There was this butterfly still in a cocoon, and there was this little kid that found the cocoon and opened it, and then a butterfly came out. I was so surprised. Wow, how is it possible that a butterfly comes out? And he expected the butterfly to fly away, but the butterfly didn't. Because to be able to fly, to be able to use the wings, the butterfly had needed it to have the resistance of the cocoon to empower basically the wings to grow the muscles. I don't know if they have muscles, but anyway, to practice with the wings to actually fly. And the cocoon is needed to strengthen the wings so the butterfly is able to fly. But because this little kid opened the cocoon already, the butterfly wasn't able to experience the resistance of the cocoon, so to strengthen the wings. So the butterfly wasn't able to fly. That's exactly what happens when either you're in a new position, like this was the case of this lady, or there is a different situation. If you see things like resistance, things that maybe you prefer not to have it, but if you see it as your contrast, if you see it as a contrast to figure out what it is that you do want, then you strengthen your your resistance against things, towards things that happen that maybe you don't want them to happen, but they happened anyway. So shit happens. What's next? How do I get past this shit? So if just by looking at it from a different perspective, if you see any resistance or anything, all the things that stop you from getting where you want, or those are, if it's an obstacle or resistance from someone or whatever you can have, or a big brown bear that is stopping you from continuing on the road, think of the butterfly story. You need resistance to grow. You need contrast to grow. And every time you get past it, you become stronger and stronger and stronger. And then give yourself wings. You're actually creating the wings to fly sky high. That's what you're doing. And if you are able to look at it from this perspective, everything becomes so much easier. It doesn't mean that everything gets solved within 10 seconds. No, of course not. But if you look at it from a different perspective, from an easier perspective, it is easier. That's how simple it is. Okay. If you have a takeaway, if there is something you take away from this podcast, please let me know in the comment, leave a review, give some stars, and I will be very grateful. And thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast for female leaders. Bye.